Nope, there we go. Yay, it worked. Nope, there we go. Yay, it worked. It you guys into the box now, and it looks like that has been unlocked now for me. I'm super excited about it. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes. Here she comes. Is this pink guy? Yay, it worked. I confirmed my
Yay! Yay!
age.
I was like, oh no, we'll have to wait 3 separate days. That sucks.
No, I had to confirm my
I'm
age. For
so
some
glad.
reason, it didn't have my age confirmed. I think that's weird. I think that's so weird. Yeah.
It's because you're 12. You're 12 years old. That's what it was.
Yeah, you know. So it doesn't have the big thing anymore. Now it's got like this whole layout where I can have like 95 people up here, but I'm not big in the box anymore. That's weird.
You can, you can change it. You can change it so that
Huh.
you're in the big box.
I don't know how to do all
On the
that.
Yeah, on the settings. It's confusing.
It's really confusing because it never made this before and now I can't see it at all. A show, live show, how to run a show. No, we don't want to run a show. That's not what we're doing. Anyway, I mean, we just wanted to be able to come on and make sure that you could join me now. So we've done that. You
Yeah.
were on a little earlier, so you can talk about some of the things that you were, some of the things we wanted to update today.
Well, man, this last 2 weeks, I swear, so much has happened in April. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it
It's been
has.
like every day. And it's not just been one story per day. It's been like multiple stories per day.
Right.
And
Right. On the
you know,
first, we had so much come down.
right. And
That
then
was the April Fool's Day of all April Fool's Days.
oh yeah. Yeah. I would have just been like, oh, you sent Murdoch, oh, I got sentenced to 40 years. Yeah. Funny judge. You're funny. Haha. April Fool's Day on me. I'll come
Right.
back later. But he already I was doing some research, and I hadn't seen this posted anywhere else, but he already admitted pled guilty to a financial fraud case against
Yeah.
him that he got
For
sentenced to 27 years to. So he's
right.
got,
And
2 life sentences, 27 years, and now 40 years.
right. Right. I mean, even if they throw out the conviction on the Schmurders and retry him, he's still going to be in prison for life.
Yeah, it's I really think that he's going to get a new trial in the Paul and Maggie case because, of the fact that the clerk, contaminated the jury, and a jury member came forward and said, I would not have, I would not have made my decision the way I did if she had not influenced me. And
Yeah.
so they said if one member is corrupted, then the whole pool's corrupted. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think there'll be another trial, and hopefully he won't be dumb enough to take the stand this time.
There we go. I made myself big. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, when he took the stand and they said he was going to take the stand, I was literally watching it going, no, like,
Yeah.
but he really genuinely believed that, hey, he had been snowing juries and conning juries, manipulating juries for decades. So he thought
Right.
he could do it again.
Yeah, and that did not do any favors. I think I honestly believe that if he had not taken the stand, I don't think that the prosecution had proved their case. I think that they were still really close to reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
I think taking the stand is what really sunk him.
Oh, absolutely. And especially when, I mean, he gave them their closing line on him when he gave
Yeah.
the quote that, oh, what webs we weave when we practice to deceive.
Right.
And they were like, they took that and they threw that right back in his face. And I was like, did you just say that? I'm seriously like, you just sunk your ship.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's really funny about that is that was the original quote that we used for by proxy with the spider web and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the original one. If oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive.
Isn't that Tennessee Williams?
No, Lord Byron Scott, I think. I can't remember. Hold on, I have to look it up.
It's a
Let me look it
very
up.
famous
It
quote.
is, and it's not Tennessee Williams. I know it's not. Oh, come on. It doesn't want to scan my stupid finger. Come on. Will you please just scan my finger? What is wrong with you, stupid computer?
I'll tell you what, I can't do anything with my fingertips as far as I've lost all of my fingerprints.
I don't know why. I mean, it was fine. It's just being weird. It doesn't want to. All right,
Shannon
hold
and
on.
Scarlett wants to know what we are talking about. Um, we've both been sick. We had great plans for this week. We had so much to cover. There are past cases that we're working on, and then we had all of the new cases that just popped off on April 1st, and we both went down for the count. So, this
Sir
is
Walter Scott.
Sir Walter Scott. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. I knew it was. I knew it was one of those like a sir something something. I knew it. I knew
Yeah.
it.
So we're just doing a little catch up. This is the first time that Fancy's been live this week. It's a first time. Well, no, you did do a
I
couple
did do the
short
two
lives.
lives this week. I
Yeah,
just
so
had to do them because I wasn't able to go live over here since they took off, my big platforms and everything where I had the 20,000 people. Nice
is
of them.
is there any do you think at any point that you'll be able to retrieve that account?
I'm hoping that in May, when I talk to my lawyer, that we'll be able to do that. Yes.
Yeah, I
Because,
mean,
I mean, it's
your
clearly,
agency should have handled that.
well, I didn't even know how to get a hold of my agency. Like, that's the
I
crazy thing
know.
about it. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I still
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing on this app. This app is so super confusing. It's definitely not for Gen Xers. It's definitely for millennials.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. I
it's
feel like
definitely an
it.
app for a younger generation than I am, and I'm pretty tech
Yeah,
savvy. But this one, and they change their rules so often,
exactly.
I just don't even know how to keep up with it. But I'm mad because, they took away a lot by taking that account. They took away a lot. I was making good money from that account. I was getting free samples to review products. I had a freaking ice maker coming. I was so super excited. And
Right.
then all of that got taken when they took down my account. I don't even have an agency right now. Like, I don't have one. I don't even know. I need to contact the one that Dr. Steele told me to contact. It's her agency. It's Gravitas, and
Okay.
they're really big. So I'm gonna
Yeah, they're
contact them.
huge.
And I'm wondering if they might be able to get my old account back, like help me with that if I go with
That
an
would
agency that can
be
help out more.
amazing.
It's really fucking annoying. Like, it was really ridiculous. And it's so funny because that person sits up on a live and says, "Oh, I don't do that to anybody." But then in the same sentence, she said, "Oh, except to April and Thea because they deserved it." Really?
Right.
Really?
That's just one thing. I mean, I know everybody please keep liking and sharing this
All
out.
right.
We want to
Yes, please do.
get more people in the room because there's some things, I mean, that we need to address. We don't want to give Ryan Lee a platform here. We don't want to spend our time talking about her, but but it does need to be addressed because we are getting so many screenshots and we're getting so many video clips sent to us about
Right.
what she's saying because she has gone off the rails as far as just everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks, and
And it's
she
funny
is
because
on
everything I told
live
her was going to
all
happen happened.
exactly, and people are saying that like, hey, Fancy warned you, but the thing is like she's been doing a ridiculous amount of hours. I
12
don't
hours yesterday we counted
I
up, right?
I yes, I
And believe
don't
you me, I don't watch her shit. I just get people sending it to me constantly and people sending it to our team constantly. And so, every once in a while, I'll click in there to see whatever the hell someone sent me. But yeah, apparently 12 hours, 4 hours, one live, 3 hours, another live, then another three
been
hours on
seeing
Twitch or
it.
some shit. It's insanity.
I don't see,
Insanity.
like, how does she not lose her voice? Does her
I don't know. I
jaws?
lost my voice, so
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
I'm still
Like,
squeaky.
I'm still all messed up. My voice is still all messed up. I went 2 days this week where I couldn't barely talk at all,
Hey, we
which
missed
is
you
hard
guys
for me.
too. We missed you guys too. But so what we haven't been able to go
I
live.
missed you guys too. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the love and support. We really appreciate it. Keep sharing this out and tapping. It helps us to get out into the algorithm. I was able to build to 20,000 by myself in 2 months the first time. There's no reason we can't get me back there. There's absolutely no reason, because the stories that we are bringing you are stories that need to be out there. When we report on Gypsy, I don't cover all the bullshit about Gypsy. Like, yes, this week I reported on her nose and her divorce and the restraining order, because those things I felt were important to the story.
It's the and asking for spousal support.
Support? I cannot believe she's asking for spousal support.
Uh, uh,
She got some
blows.
big cojones, man. She
I'm
got big
amazed.
balls.
And that TRO was absolutely
What judge
ridiculous.
gave her that?
Well, I mean, come on.
Although I have not seen any paperwork on it.
Well, I know a couple people had made a comment saying that by filing the TRO that was going to help her in her divorce proceedings.
Yeah, that's what she thinks. I'm gonna laugh so hard if Ryan gets some of her money. I think he should get some of her money. Okay, listen to this. This is hilarious. They did not sign a prenup. Like, what the fuck was Melissa Moore doing at that point in time to not advise them that they needed a prenup for fucking sure? Because I'll tell you what, it's one of the first things I said to Christy when Ken came on the scene as the fiance. I was like, prenup. And she's like, oh, we don't think we're going to do that. I go, no, you're going to do a prenup. You have to do a prenup. And I went to Tori, because Tori at the time, was Tori Johnson at the time was my partner. And we went to Christy and we literally told her that we were going to change the terms of our contract with Gypsy, that if she were to get married while in prison, that we would only put the money from the series that we were making for her into a trust fund, because we were not going to allow somebody to come in from the outside and take her money. And I cannot believe that her parents did not get her to do a prenup. Like, it's just, you're a public figure, for Christ's sake. What were you thinking?
Right, exactly. And, I did see that I mean, they did not have a prenup, but apparently he's not allowed to touch the money that was in the trust, and
Right.
he's not allowed to touch the money from prison confessions. But anything that's happened after prison confessions, which we know she had her ebook that came out, and
Right.
then they've also got two seasons here on Lifetime.
Right.
All of that money, I mean, he is entitled to 50% of.
Well, and he also got paid for prison confessions. So he got paid his own money for prison confessions.
Right. And now they're saying that, you know, Ken's claiming that he did an interview with Lifetime,
Yeah.
but he didn't get paid. And I just don't believe that.
I mean, I could believe it either way, to be honest with you, because I did tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of interviews over the years. Tons. Christy would send them to me every freaking day. There'd be a new one that, hey, can you contact this person and set this up? Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? I never got paid for any of those. Not a single one, except for the Reels channel. I got the $200 for the documentary I did, and that was it. And I didn't get anything for my A&E. So it is quite possible he didn't get paid, but I think he got paid. I mean, at least I knew they flew him out there. They paid for that, which they didn't have to do that. He could have filmed wherever he was. They could have gone to him.
Right.
So, you know,
And people don't, I see people saying, like, leave Gypsy alone. Let her live her own, let her live her life. Okay, wait a minute. Halt. Just take a second here, guys. Do you all not realize that all the interviews that she's popped off with in People Magazine this week, she sold those interviews. And all the pictures that were taken by TMZ, she sold those pictures to TMZ. Even
Yep.
the pictures of the selfies she took
Yes.
at home,
Yes.
recovering from her nose job, were
Right.
sent to TMZ by her, and they paid her.
Sure. They are.
So,
Hmm.
you know, I guess people are just are willfully ignorant.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think so. I think that that is true. In this case specifically, that's what I've noticed is that people are just willfully ignorant. They don't want to believe any of the evidence that says anything contradictory to whatever it is that they believe. And you know, I've been guilty of that myself in certain circumstances with this, but I have a lot more knowledge to stand on my laurels than these people who don't know anything, you know. And the
Mhm.
whole thing with Gypsy's case has always been about projection. Everybody wants that story to be true. Everybody projects their own abuse, their own everything onto this girl. And, you know, and they call her a girl instead of a woman. They don't call her a woman. She is 33 years old. She is a grown ass woman. She was a grown ass woman when she decided to do this. She was a grown ass woman when she convinced a mentally challenged disabled guy to come across state lines to do this. She is a absolute 100% huge con artist. She's doing exactly what her mama told her to do, and I bet her mom is probably fucking proud of her.
Yeah, it's I mean she you know, they're like, "Oh, TMZ needs to stop following her and taking pictures." She told them where to be.
She calls them and tells them where she is. How else do you think they found her in that freaking hotel coming out of prison? Come
Yeah.
on now, folks. She's living the life exactly the way she wants to live it. And she can sit here and talk about, oh, I don't want people to. Fuck you. I don't care. You are sending these pictures to the media. That opens you up for discussion, baby girl. You took another person's life and you continue to exhibit behaviors that are shocking and scary.
And this isn't anything new. I mean, if you've ever
No.
watched any of the Real Housewives series, they do this to themselves constantly. They will call the paparazzi, especially in New York, they'll call Page Six and they'll call TMZ. They'll call everybody and be like, "Oh, I'm going to be here at this at such and such," or they leak
Right.
stories about other cast members, you know, and they're all getting paid.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of that, you know, we've got this whole thing of she's trying to I don't know. She has a serious addiction to attention. A serious addiction to it. And no, she did not have unnecessary procedures. They did
No, no,
not. They were
no.
not unnecessary procedures, Brooke. Um,
What we were saying was that there has been you know, some doctors and specialists have come forward and said that people that are true victims of Munchausen by proxy syndrome or
right.
factitious or medical abuse, they will avoid doctors, hospitals, and surgeries like the plague.
Right.
They will
Right.
not go and pay for an
Okay, Brooke, no
elective
problem.
cosmetic procedure to be done.
Right, right. Especially this quickly out of prison. Like, seriously. And on top of that, Sarah, didn't we talk about that too? I'm not sure she's allowed to do this while she's on parole. I didn't know she was allowed to change her appearance at all.
Yeah, that's been brought up and debated by a lot of people that apparently when you're on parole, you're not allowed to do any drastic changes to your appearance because, you know, of course you can, they don't want you going in and doing, you know, a face, having all kinds of face stuff done and then sneaking off and nobody can find you because they don't
Right.
know what you look like anymore.
Right.
And
Right.
also, you know, another thing is that, you know, I'm gonna have to look myself. I mean, I still have an issue with her not being a resident of the state. And I know that somebody else said, well, it doesn't matter as long as Ryan is.
Right.
And I don't agree with that. And I will have
Well,
to do my own research on that, but that just doesn't sound right to me.
Well, I guess it's that he's a resident, so they only have to have one person be a resident for that amount of time, and that suffices. But I don't know. You know, However, going back to this, that people are saying the parole officer is coddling her. I agree with that 100%. He
Absolutely.
and the thing is she's supposedly supposed to be off social media because her parole officer told her to. I call bullshit on that because it's so similar to the bullshit she pulled back in 2018, 2019, where she was being put in the hole because of the Facebook groups. Well, Christy ran through every Facebook group there was, telling them all they had to shut down. Oh my God, we have to shut these down or Gypsy's going to the hole. And this whole freaking thing happened, okay? It was, thank you. I'm so glad to be back, Brooke. Happened, and this is horrible. Oh my God, da 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 da. And she goes through, and everybody's telling me, like all my friends in the groups are like, what, this is not how this works. They can't regulate us because she's in prison. This isn't how it works. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I just know what I'm being told. And it made me look like a complete idiot. And then I get the letter that she sends me from the warden. Finally, Christy shows me the letter from the warden, and it had to do with a profile that they felt was her profile that she was not supposed to have, and it needed to be shut down. It had nothing to do with Facebook groups, and she did not go to the hole. She did not. She was put on suspension where she couldn't communicate with phone calls and things like that for a little bit, but she didn't go to the hole. Well, then that story changes in her book. In her book, it happens, 2 weeks before she's supposed to get out or some shit, and it's right before her parole hearing, and she spent 2 weeks in the hole. Bullshit. None of that happened.
No, no.
So this parole officer telling her to get off social media, but then, oh, I'm going to go on Natasha's fucking live.
Speaking about that, I was going to bring that up. When I saw Ken and Gypsy give Natasha their exclusive interview together, I knew that
What do you
the
mean while Christy was outside mowing the lawn in the dark
yeah, exactly, and detailing cars.
and detailing cars?
Yeah, so I knew that like Ryan and everybody who had ridden so hard for them was going to lose their minds.
Oh, they did. They all did. Even Nina lost her mind.
Yeah, it's been that was crazy, and I wonder like, did she choose Natasha just to create more drama?
Of course she did.
Yeah.
You love that Christy broke up with Ryan? Yeah, I'm loving that for her, considering that I told her it was going to happen exactly how it happened, and it happened exactly how I told her it was going to happen.
But they're back together now. They're
No, they're not.
besties again.
No, they're not.
Well, according to
No.
Ryan, I mean, okay, look, Ryan put up that post that everyone
No, it's
saw.
going back up. She already said it's going back up. She's already
Oh,
upset again.
cool. Well, she posted all those screenshots, and then within an hour she took it down, and I was like, "Yep, Christy called her," and then
Called her.
she confirmed on the next live that they
Yep.
had spoken for 3 hours and they had worked everything out.
Yeah, and then the next day she goes live again talking about how she was ghosted once again and she woke up to being blocked. I know Ryan needs to leave Nina alone. Ryan needs to leave everyone alone. To be honest with you, she knows nothing about this fucking case. She is a stand for Christy,
What
and
and
she
what
flip-flops on
happens
Gypsy
with
every fucking day.
what happened with her ride or die Courtney? Because now all she's saying is, Courtney's off of everything, and she's telling everybody, leave Courtney alone.
I don't know. But don't you know, that was the last time we're gonna hear Courtney's voice
Oh
because she was
God, yeah.
on
That what was that? A
suicide
month
watch.
ago?
Bullshit.
A month
Bullshit.
ago? Because she was on Unalive Watch.
KB went after Ryan because of fancy.
Hey,
Yeah, no,
hey,
no,
Amy,
absolutely right.
Amy, you're a mod. Can you pin a comment? Because I cannot pin comments.
I looked, Sarah, and it showed that you had ability to pin comments. So I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't know. I don't know why it wasn't working, but it's all unreal. No, absolutely. And I told her exactly who was going to come for her. I told her it was going to be Brandy and Tori. I told her that they were going to start some shit. They were going to lie to her, and that they were going to, try and do all this, which is so weird because Brandy can't stand Christy for years, could not stand Christy, got mad at me for making her apologize to Christy at one point in time. Then all of a sudden she decides to become a Christy stan. None of this makes any sense. I don't know what their plan was, but they definitely had a major fucking plan. And Don Brown and Brandy are written all the fuck over it. I
Well,
don't know what the
here's
hell
the
they're
thing.
doing.
I'm just going to address that. I'm just going to address that post that she put up where she said she never mentioned Courtney, and she said that Tori and Brandy didn't want to have shit to do with shit. Those are
Shit.
her exact words. That is not true because she had just had Tori on her live bashing you a couple weeks before, and Brandy and Kendall Grant have been going live like every day, right in the middle of it. So Brandy and Tori are absolutely 100% still in the mix.
Oh yeah.
And now that Jimmy and Ryan have made up, they're this dynamic duo and they are just disgusting.
Yeah, they really are. It's all gross, and I just can't stand to watch any of it. Like it's just, I don't even want to talk about it. It's so pointless. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know what their big plan was, but it certainly failed. And now they're all running around like chickens with their heads cut off. So
Well,
let
yeah,
them.
it's like, we have sat back and we took the high road
Yep.
and we stayed silent after attack after attack after attack. And
Well,
um
absolutely was to shut me down. Absolutely, Brooke. Yes.
and it they now look at them. They're all Bree, Nina, all of them. They're all fighting with each other and just tearing each other apart. And I'm like, do you guys not know that Christy's just sitting back loving this? Like she
Right.
is loving that you guys are fighting over her. She gets some
Right.
kind of like,
This PR rep, that whole bullshit. Jasmine's like, oh, well, I was just trying to help her get offline. I'm like, do you know how many times I helped Christy get offline? Do you know how many times I got her out of the groups and out of the mess and all of those things because that's what she wanted, supposedly. And I was doing the interviews with In Touch and everyone because of that. That was the exact reason why I was doing interviews and started becoming the family spokesperson in the first place. And then this happens, and Jasmine's like, oh, I did the right thing and I got her off a line. Now she's over there on her own freaking thing, doing her own post or some shit. It's absolutely absurd. But let's move on to the other cases because I don't even want to talk about the absurdity of this. It's
yeah,
just dumb.
right.
They
I
can
just,
talk all they
we
want
don't
and they
want.
can run their mouths all they want, and I don't want any part of it.
Right. We
Anyway,
don't want to, we've decided not to address it, and
right.
we haven't been for all of this time. But today I just thought we should just touch base because so much has happened with Gypsy's case, and
Yeah.
so much has happened with all of these people in her circle, fighting with each other. So we still stand exactly as we did before that, there's so much more out there for us to cover. We're not
Right.
going to get dragged down into the mud pit with them and sling mud. It is not worth my time or energy. I just, if that's what they want to do, then that's on them. Because I mean, my gosh, there's so many things in this world that are going on that are so much more important than Gypsy.
Nick's appeal was denied. Yes, Brooke, you're correct. And there's some controversy over whether he has one more appeal at state level or if he is onto the Supreme Court. I believe he's onto the Supreme Court now. And my husband and I were talking about whether that goes to the Missouri Supreme Court or if it goes to the full Supreme Court. And I believe it just goes to the Missouri Supreme Court first, right?
Oh, I'll just address that. Whoever is making the comment about me not taking the high road, I'm sorry, but Bree doxed myself,
No,
my
no, no, we're not
family,
getting
and my
into this.
baby.
No,
So
no,
that's
no.
that's
Sarah,
that stands.
no more.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm just addressing the comment.
No more.
Yeah. It's I
Okay.
got. I mean, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I just a lot of people
And
don't.
moderators, please be watching the chat. Take care of that because I'm not putting up with this today. I am not. God,
We
my
don't
fingers.
we don't feel good, and we just wanted to come on here and reach out to you guys and touch base with you guys about what's been going on. There has been so much that happened. I don't know. I find it kind of ironic that Gypsy slipped in that divorce right in the middle of the eclipse?
That's
Odd.
crazy.
That's
Like,
so
oh
odd.
my God. And my mod's making that video, the total eclipse of the heart. Oh, it was
I can
so
tell you
funny.
that
Like,
we have a great supporter and someone that works with us. Her name is Danae, and her husband Steve was the one that sent that clip to me about that song, and I could not stop laughing. And I said, "That is the perfect song. You win for the day.
right.
I'm going to use that." And it was just hilarious, and I don't understand. It was like exactly right in the middle. It was like 1:56 p.m. I was like, really? It was like sneaking in the dark, like, let me
Right.
go over here in the dark, you know?
Like tiptoeing in there. Hi, I'm Gypsy Rose. I'm here to get a divorce. Like, you know, I you know what, Brooke? Oh my God, exactly. He's entitled to half. And every time I think about that, I think about Eddie Murphy doing the I'm an American woman now, Eddie. I want half. Half, Eddie. You owe me half, Eddie. I American woman. I from Raw or the second one. I don't know which one it's from. It's from one of the early ones, the two early uh comedy specials that he did. It's from one of those, and I just think it's
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
they are
Absolutely hilarious.
pretty raunchy. Yeah. So
Yeah. I'm
anyway,
American
so
woman,
that
Eddie. I do half.
yeah, that's where that stands. But let's, like I said, as far as anybody that is behind on anything, um I guess I my question is here last week
We
Gypsy's.
have somebody requesting the box, so I'm going to go ahead and let her come up. Christina, I'm going to go ahead and let you come in. You've been here before, so let's see what you have to say today.
I was going to point out that last week Gypsy's relationship status was
Mhm.
separated, and
Right.
this week it says in a relationship.
Hey, Christina, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question along with a statement. So, do you believe that the problem with most of these supporters, I've witnessed it like firsthand, is that once the facts come out about the case, that they don't want to admit that they were supporting a schmurder the whole entire time?
Yes. Yeah.
Because we had a situation, and I've been in your box before where I told you
Right.
like my sister-in-law was schmurdered.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Oh, I'm
girl
so
that was
sorry for
involved
your
in it,
loss. I'm so sorry for your
whenever
loss.
she started going live on TikTok and asking for money for her cancer treatment. And then when
Mm-hmm.
I was going in her lives, like being like, she's a murderer. Here's the facts. Here's news articles. Everyone acted like I was crazy, but that was the facts of the case.
Well, my husband, a wise man, once said to me that smart people sound stupid to, or sound crazy to stupid people. And that's the problem, is that this case is not black and white. It's not crystal clear. There's no one perpetrator, one victim. None of that exists in this case. So the complications that this case brings out in the beginning, already is hard for people to understand the difference, and what the actual pieces are, because it's just not black and white. It's all a lighter shade of gray in this. And
I
it,
do agree with what Rescue said, that a lot of people watch the act and base
yeah,
their entire opinion on that. And
yes.
that is so highly fictionalized.
Right. Right. But yeah, I do agree with you. I do think that projection is a big part of this. I think that it's hard for people to admit the lies are true, that these are really lies that we've all been given. It's hard because the story that was sold was such a good story. It really was. And if you believe that, then all is right in your little world. But once you begin to see the onion peel back and you see what's going on, no, Pink Cat is not Starlight. They are two different people. I don't know why you guys keep getting them confused, but they are just
It's
definitely two
because
different people.
Ryan keeps going on live and saying that we're the same person.
That's so weird. And she's also not Sarah Jane Anderson either, the chick
Yeah.
from the UK. She's not that person either, okay? Just so you guys know. But yes, Christina, I do think you're right in that, and I think that it's hard reality for people. I'll be honest. When it hit me in the face and I was so close to them, it was devastating. I
Right.
mean, devastating. And I mean, for even after a year after I had spoke to Gypsy, I still did not realize how many lies they had told me. It was not, honestly, till coming to TikTok that I really began to understand the vast amount of lies and how deep this goes. Because it's not just Gypsy, it's not just the Gypsy case. It's not. There is way more to this. The doctors, the hospitals, CPS, DCFS, the district attorney's office, it's all included in this. And it's really a lot for people to unpack. And so the sweet little story that they told everybody is easier to believe than the truth.
Well, and I will let me, this is just my observation, is that I believe that you projected uh, on Gypsy,
I did.
and that
Yep.
when the realization came to you that you had been deceived, that
Yes.
it literally shattered you.
It did. It really did. It did. And it broke my heart. And I had to start over. I don't know how many times I've started over on looking at this case because once the veil, like I said, once the veil drops, it's a very, very jarring reality that you have in front of you. And when that veil drops, there's no going back from it. There is no halfway in this. There is no, oh, well, I can't, no. It is really cut and dry once you see it. But there's so many gray aspects of it, it makes it very hard to see.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the whole point, is that they try to keep everything as confusing as possible. Like
Yeah,
you said, it's all a distraction.
it's all a distraction. And that's what they do. They run us in circles to make sure that we don't ever quite get everything we need. And that's what happened to me. And thankfully, I'm 99% sure I now have most of everything I need. Christina, did you have any other questions or comments you wanted to share?
No, that was all. Thank you for letting me come up.
Okay, no problem, sweetheart. If anybody else wants to hit the box and ask some questions about this case or any other case that we have been talking about, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, guys,
Uh,
what do you think about the new headlines that are going out? Wow, we've got so much going on in the world right now. We have the Quiet on the Set series. We have Murdaugh.
ooh,
We have the situation with Nick that I don't believe has been resolved yet. I still think that they are going to file something else regarding that discovery, and hopefully he will get a new trial.
he
Um,
should.
we have the situation with Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy.
And people may not really think that's serious, but guys, it is very serious. The charges that they're alleging against him, the crimes they're alleging against him, and all of the people involved, I mean, would just take down most of Hollywood. And then let's see, what else do we have going on? Of course, we're still going to be doing coverage on Delphi, Crystal Rogers, Natalia Grace.
Windows.
And now, yeah, I was going to bring that up. Really, really want to do a good coverage on Menendez, because there is something going to be coming out on the 2nd.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want to get people
And I've
updated.
just been watching that new series, the Victim versus Villain series. God, I cannot stand that prosecuting attorney. I literally just cannot stand her. She reminds me so much of the smug one from Central Park 5. Like, both those prosecutors remind me of one another, and I just cannot stand her. I just can't stand her.
I
But
I mean, my heart just breaks for them and for all of the other victims that were out there, because you can't really talk about the Menendez brothers case without bringing in Menudo, the band, because
Yeah.
they
Oh,
were
absolutely.
victims.
Oh, man, I lost you guys. You're
And
good.
Sue B, where is Natalia now? Natalia is in New York.
Ah, sorry, guys. Um, anyway, and somebody asked if I think that Alec is guilty or not. I kind of talked about this earlier in my life, and the fact is that I don't think that he pulled the triggers. I don't think he's the shooter. I don't think that they proved he was at all. I think that his own testimony is what sunk him mostly, and the fact that that Snapchat video was so close to when the timeline that we've been given. But that timeline is not foul proof. That timeline is not. There was a lot added in by SLED, and a lot of misappropriations happened handling that case in many ways, not just Becky Hill, the court reporter, but the investigation itself was not done well because of the fact of who he is.
Oh
And
my
so,
goodness, the scene. I mean, the scene itself was not contained.
no.
They never found out who all of those tire tracks belonged to, even though they mentioned it. And then they go in and all these guns were removed from the home,
Right.
by
But not
other
the ones
family
that,
members.
but they did not find the ones that they needed.
No, no,
And they
and
didn't even find that he owned them. He owned one like one, but he did not own both of them. And there's a lot of questions there. There's just a lot of questions in that case that to me proves reasonable doubt. But regardless, he's going to do life anyway on the fraud charges, so it doesn't really matter.
right. And it's just I have a very hard time believing that two people were murdered at the exact same time in the same location, vicinity, by two different weapons. And they've, proven that. And it's
Yeah.
like, there has to be somebody else involved. Do I believe I believe that he, hired someone to come in and
Now,
do
see,
it.
I can believe that. I absolutely can believe that he hired someone to come and shoot Paul. Paul especially. The jury's still out on what Maggie's role was in all of this. I personally think that Maggie was called home by Alec to find Paul's body. That's what I believe. I don't think she was a target. I don't think she was supposed to be down there at the kennels because she didn't normally go down to the kennels.
Right. But why were there two completely different weapons basically hidden, in the area? Or
Right.
they were either hidden there or somebody came in, two people came in with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Thank you guys. Thank you for telling me I look so pretty today. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. I feel so much better.
they did so poorly with the crime scene that Alex's own brother had to go the next day and pick up.
Well, that's not unusual. That's not unusual unless they hire a cleanup crew. They don't do that. That is normal.
You
And
don't
I
think
used to
the
sell HUD
coroner?
houses when I was in California. I used to sell HUD houses, and one of the HUD houses I went into was not cleaned, and there had been a murder. And there
So
was stuff everywhere. It was
you
so
don't
gross.
you don't believe that the coroner should have picked up
They
parts
don't.
of Paul?
I'm not saying that they don't, but they do. But that's what they do. They leave it, and the family is left to clean it all up, and it's really sad.
Yes.
How long after Jip Jip got arrested did you become personally involved with the family? I got involved with the family in 2017. And by the way, for the person who was saying that she was only married to Ryan Anderson for 3 months, no, that's incorrect. They've actually been married for 2 years. She's only been free for 3 months. That's that. So she's been married to him for almost 2 years. So does he have a case for alimony? I think so, especially without a prenup. But anyway, back to Murdaugh and see that video. I know that's what sank him, but for me, if I was on the jury, it wouldn't have mattered at all to me because it would not have placed him there at the time of the murders. It only placed him there up to 3 minutes before. And 3 minutes is a long ass time in the timeline of a schmurder.
Hey,
Three
Miss
minutes.
Danae, I was just
Hi,
giving
Danae. We were just talking about you.
I was giving you and your lovely husband shout out for the wonderful music choice of Total Eclipse of the Heart when Gypsy filed in the
Tap,
middle of
tapping,
the
guys. Tap, tap,
eclipse.
tapping.
So props to you. I don't know if you've seen the video for today. What is this, day 12?
No, it was yesterday's. Day 11 was the one with the total eclipse of the heart.
Yeah, it's
But it
so
got
good.
muted in so many places because of the song.
But
Unfortunately.
it was great. Thank you
It was
for
really good.
that. Thank you, and thanks, Steve.
Yeah, and I've been really enjoying what the girls have been putting together. That those little videos are so super cute. And it was your idea. I mean, it was so funny
Yeah.
because it started off as, I wasn't we weren't even talking about releasing the book yet. Now it's the countdown to our book, of course, but it's also this countdown to, am I ever going to be served this lawsuit, this injunction that they are trying to get against me? And the more and more I hear about it, the more and more I'm like, what?
Well,
What?
let me break it down for you. We were told that from second and third hand information that Gypsy was filing for a restraining order, and we thought, how can that possibly be? So I go in and do some research and find out, oh nay nay, that is not what they did. He actually took it federal and turned it into a federal injunction,
Junction.
which is completely different. And I don't see how they have any grounds.
They don't. They don't. We've talked about this repeatedly. They don't. So, yes, Elsie, you did miss a little bit about the countdown. The countdown is our kind of joshing way of me going to the mailbox every day and looking for the summons. But on top of that, our book releases on the 30th. So we kind of just figured it would go hand in hand.
And also, it's you guys, it's got all the links. And then yesterday they included some of the, or today they included some of the great merch, the new merch that Fancy
Oh my God,
created.
I've been putting out so much new merch. We have so much coming in. There's so many things we've got in the store now. And I'm adding to it every day. We partnered with Printful to print them for us because I just can't print anything anymore like I was doing before. Some of the stuff I still have, like I've got some of the coffee mugs, and I'm going to continue to do my earrings that I've been, doing. I have the My Bloody Valentine ones. I've got the chibi little serial unaliver ones. It's all on my store at thegoodwivesnetwork.com. And we'll be adding more and more. I even did an unhinged chicken shirt and cup and water bottle for you guys, my unhinged chickens.
Oh, I was just gonna say, somebody said, oh, there's Pick Me Pink Hat. Let me just address that real quick. So my name was never Pick Me Pink Hat or anything of the sort. It was Sadie. And I got so tired of being called a pick me girl, which I am not. But Ryan and the whole crew, which are the ultimate examples of pick me girls, decided to label me that. And then they started calling me Pink Hat Sarah. And so, it was kind of funny because when I put my TikTok profile up, I literally just went to the first picture that was in my gallery, and it was the selfie of me at the Kentucky Derby. And so I posted it, and I didn't plan to keep it up, and now it has become a thing. And so I'm just playing with it and having a good time, and letting them, they want to make fun of me, they want to call me these names, and so I'm just going to do that and leave that up until after the Kentucky Derby, which that's another thing that's on our list, is we are going to be doing a live stream of the Kentucky Derby. We'll either be on the grounds there, or we will be doing something split where, Fancy can go to one of the local restaurants in the area where everybody goes to celebrate and talk to people there. And then I'll be having a derby party from my home. So that is like that would be the, least coverage. I mean, our hope would be to actually get the media passes to be able to go to the Derby and get you guys behind the scenes and scoops, and also to interview people there. So, like I said, my Kentucky Derby hat kind of turned into a social media, joke. And then when they started calling me names, I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to put that up there, let it run, and let it go until after the Derby, and then I'll just change it back to the original. So, yeah. So it's funny. It's funny. I'm literally trying to laugh at the meanness that's
That's the
been
only
thrown
thing we can do
away.
at this point because it's become completely a joke. It's laughable at this point.
They've been so mean.
But you know what's really funny about that, Sarah, though? Thank you guys. Love you so much for the hearts and everything. Thank you, thank you. You know what's so funny about that, Sarah, though, is that was kind of what happened. I forgot to laugh about the absurdity of everything that goes on with this case.
Thank you, ladies. We've got the crew in here.
I know, and I
We've
see
got
them and they're
all
so
our
great.
girls in
Um,
here.
but let's talk a little bit more about the Menendez brothers because I really want to talk about them. And if Gypsy can get out in 8 years with no evidence whatsoever that her mother ever abused her in any way, shape, or form, not medically, physically, or emotionally. There's no evidence of it. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Now, medically, she was not abused medically. I can prove that. She has a chromosome disorder, 1q21.1. If you look up any information about it, you will 100% know that is what she has. You can look at her sisters and see it as well because it is facially something you can recognize, but there is no evidence, none, not a single stitch of evidence against Dee Dee at all, at all. And Gypsy gets this hell of a plea deal. We just covered some of Murdaugh, yes, but we're going to go deeper into Murdaugh in shows and things. But we're just kind of briefly touching on some of the things that we're going over this week. So with the Menendez brothers, that happened in California in the late,
1989.
89. I was in high school. So I graduated in 92. So let's see, 89, 90, 90, 91, 91, 92. I think I was a junior. 89, 90. No, I was a sophomore. 89, 90, 90, 91. Yeah, I was a sophomore. I was a sophomore in high school. And I remember it because I was out in California. And we knew who the Menendez brothers were because, anybody who knew anything about the industry knew all of that. We knew them. We knew all of them. The Kardashians. We knew all that. I mean, they were famous before all of that. And I remember it happening. And then their trial was one of the first trials that was ever fully broadcasted live
It
to
launched Court TV.
it
The
launched
network.
Court TV, yes. And that was crazy because it was the first time outside people had a chance to see a trial in its entirety without going to the courthouse and hoping that they made it in. Because, we all have seen those things where there's like thousands of people lined up outside a courtroom to try and get in, and they have to have numbers, and there's only so many that they're allowing
It's a
in. And
lottery. They call it a
yeah,
lottery.
lottery, right? They
You
have a
guys,
lottery.
thank you. Thank you for sending the heart me's. That really helps. Thank you
It
for
really does.
joining
Thank
the
you guys.
team. It literally costs 1 cent. Please, please, please send those in.
Thank you guys so much. But I
My
remember it happening,
roses.
Sarah. And at first, I was one of those people on board with oh my God, these boys, these rich kid boys, these entitled asshole boys went out and killed their parents for no other reason. Oh my God, thank you guys so much. For no other reason than they just wanted the money and all of that. I believed all of that. And then as I came back to this case later as an adult,
I want some
um,
roses.
as an adult with going through, going back to school for psychology and all of those things, I began looking at this case again, and I began to see, I went back and watched the trial. And when I watched the trial, I paid very close attention to the body language and the emotional state of the boys as they were testifying. And they're men. Okay, let's be honest. They were men when they did it. They were both over the age of 18. They were men. But, they were the boys. That's what everybody called them, the boys. And I could definitely
Thank
see
you.
Menendez. I could definitely, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Could definitely see a change in their demeanor, their body language, the way that they spoke, and that was real emotions on the stand.
The
Now, there are
pain.
times
There was
that
so
I
much
believe
pain.
they were lying for sure, and I picked up on those. But yeah, I definitely think that there was a huge amount of abuse going on in that home. I do think that they felt like there was no way they were going to ever escape their father. And I think they felt like, okay, yeah, we're kids that are privileged and have money, and we could just leave and walk away from it all. But do you know what it's like for a kid to walk away from everything like that? That's like a lot.
Well, and the thing is their father. They said, this is it. We've had it. When he decided that he was not going to allow Eric to
Right.
stay on campus, and he thought, okay, I'm finally going to stop being assaulted every
Right.
day once I can go to college. And then he's
Right.
told the devastating news, and then both brothers finally tell each other their stories, and they go to their father and they tell him that they're going to expose him, and he said he was going to unalive both of them.
Yeah. And I think they believed that. And I also, for Lyle, the hardest part about this for him is that he thought that because he allowed it to continue for so long with him, that he thought he was saving his brother. And this is common in these types of cases with siblings. If the oldest sibling is being the one that's abused, they will try to take that abuse on themselves for longer than than they should or they have to, because they think that they are protecting the younger children.
Wow, Danae, going with the friendship team bracelets. Thank you, thank you. And I want to include Danae in this conversation if she would like to come up, because she is helping contribute to the Menendez story.
Nene, if you feel comfortable, honey, hit the box. If you don't, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, this case, TikTok gave this case a new life. Like, it's the TikTok generation who really brought this case back to the forefront and really began to demand that we have a different look at this again, that it gets reopened and reevaluated, because these men have spent their entire lives, their adult lives in prison. They're not a threat to anyone else in society. I don't believe that they would unalive another person, unlike another murderer we know. Who I do believe.
Have you heard about all of the programs that they started in the prison system to help
Yes.
the inmates?
Yes. Yes.
They've gone above and beyond anything that they've done before, as far as them teaching, as far as them putting out these programs. One of the programs they started was to help the elderly that were in the prison because they were being neglected and mistreated so terribly.
Right.
So they have done so much while they've been in there. They've done so much good.
It reminds me of Pamela Smart. She's done a lot for women in prison while she's been in prison too.
Yay, we've got Danae.
And
Danae.
Pamela Smart's another one that if you believe that she only helped, if you believe that she helped plot the schmurder of her own husband, Pamela Smart, she's in prison for life, and the boys that actually did the killing, the unaliving, are free. So it's another case like this, and it just doesn't match up with what we've seen in the Gypsy case.
It Gypsy for some reason it's like a different standard for her.
It's so odd. Anyway, Danae,
She's
what do you
like
have to say about the
immune.
Menendez brothers, love?
Oh, I have a lot to say about them, but I don't know if I want to divulge all of that just yet. I have a lot coming up that's kind of interesting new information.
Well, cool.
And it is going to, I believe, help them tremendously. And possibly, I'm hoping that they will actually be able to get out.
They spent 20 years not being able to talk to each other.
Right.
That's
They kept them
Exactly.
separated.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
And
And I
Danae,
think that they're also getting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Danae, I was just gonna say, do you have any information that you could share with us as far as like who we can write letters of support to on their behalf?
I do not have that with me right now. I am actually in the house because they're all talking out in where I keep all my stuff. And you guys know where my special place is.
Right. That would be, is there something that you could post to the Good Wives Network that we could have
I
a link?
will. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yes,
assuming
I
that it's
will. I
probably
will.
the governor that you're talking about, Sarah, to write to the governor.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So
You
not
write
that
to the
Newsom is
governor.
any
You can
help.
also write to the senator.
Okay.
Your senator may also help to get them. You just have to put their names in people's ears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, because they definitely deserve a new chance at this. Like this has been since '89. I mean, that's a long time. It's a long time
Correct.
for people who were obviously abused and obviously took out their abusers to be in prison that long when we've watched, Centoya come out, now Gypsies come out. Like I said, the Pam Smart boys that committed the actual unaliving are out, but Pam is still in prison. This is just, I don't know. The precedent that Gypsy's case sets is huge.
Speaking of Pam, this is a completely different case, but one that just had fascinated me was Pam Hupp case. I'm like, how many people around this woman are deceased? It's unbelievable. Her ex-husband, her brother, this disabled, crippled man that she picked up and brought to her house to commit this crime. That case fascinates me.
The Pam Smart case. It's pretty
No,
interesting.
not Pam Smart, Pam Hupp.
Oh, Pam Hupp. Because
Yeah.
I was like, I don't recognize the things you're saying.
No.
Pamela Hupp? Oh, that's a crazy story too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Danae, what can you share with us? I think I mentioned that you were very interested in the menudo aspect of things.
Yes. There is actually a connection between the Menudo group, the boy group, and the Menendez brothers. The connection would happen to be Jose Menendez, the father of Lyle
Right.
and Eric and it is quite horrifying, the information I have found out. And sorry, I get distracted easy. And so the connection actually happens to be that their father had raped several of the Menudo boys as
Right.
well. I mean, as well as the producer of the group. But
Right. And
yes, and
now,
that's what I'm working on right now.
and Jose, just if anybody doesn't understand, was the president of RCA at this time. And everyone thought he kind of had an unnatural obsession with Menudo. And I'm just going to tell you that I always thought that was the weirdest boy band, because when people put these boy bands together, like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, every girl picks their favorite and identifies with one of them, and you watch them grow up and you grow up with them. But with Menudo, they were constantly changing out their band members, and I
There was
thought that was
52
extremely
band
suspicious.
members.
How many total?
52.
Wow. And I will say that I kind of have I have a direct link with Jose and Kitty. They actually met. She lived in Illinois, and he attended the same university that I did, within the same department that I did. I attended Southern Illinois University of Carbondale, and my degrees were in under the College of Mass Communications. And he did the same study courses as well. So I would literally think back on it, and I walked the same college halls that he did. I sat in the same classrooms that he did, and that just kind of really gets under my skin, and it bothers me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard case. And I think that they rushed to get a conviction on that case because of the mess up that had just happened with OJ. And so I feel like they
They were
were,
trying to make an example out of them.
yes, very much so. Yes.
Correct.
And Danae, I know you don't want to spill everything or divulge everything, but is there anything that you can let the viewers know, or give them any like clips or teasers, or teasers basically, to stay tuned to us, because you do have some information that's vital.
Well, thank you.
Yes, excuse me. You always put me on the spot. Damn it, Sarah.
I'm sorry. I'm telling you what, guys, if you don't know Danae, you don't follow Danae, she is one smart cookie. She knows her stuff.
Yeah, I do, but I've been sick, and
We've all been sick. The whole team has been sick.
It's kind of, not able to think, I guess, today.
Okay, Danae.
Yes, actually, I am working specifically on the Menudo and the link. And I believe, Sarah, weren't you going to do your tie-in
Yes.
with that as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
One of the Menudo boys, well, man now, but he actually has released exactly what happened to him.
Roy
By Jose.
Roy. We're talking about
Yes.
Roy.
Thank you for saying his name. I always screw it up. But also because Jose was actually flying them to his home in New Jersey
From out
from
of the country.
their location. Yeah.
I mean,
And
can you say
he
trafficking?
right, exactly. They drugged him. They used wine. Um, it's actually really horrible what they did to the boys because they took them away from their families
Yeah.
from Venezuela or Puerto Rico
Mhm.
or Cuba, and then they excuse me, then they brought them to America in
Right.
Florida, and then Diaz, who was the producer,
Mhm.
he was also doing the exact same stuff that
Right.
Menendez was doing,
Well, and that's the thing. These types of people in
and
this industry, they flock together. I mean, we're watching that right now with Quiet on Set with Brian Peck and Handy and Dan Schneider. These people, they suss out other people that are like this. They find them, and I don't know how they know, but it's like I guess there's just a radar that goes off of like, oh, you're like me. I'm a weirdo too. I mean, I don't know, but
Right.
I think talking about them isolating these boys from their families, I haven't really looked at the Sebastian Rogers case, to be honest with you, yet. I've been real sick this week and I've just not had a chance to check into it. I do know it's going on. I just have not had a chance to check into it, guys. But going back to what I was saying, um, I'm not. um I think this isolation from their families is key in all of this, because what they're promising the families is that they're going to take these boys and they're going to turn them into stars, and it's going to improve their lives so greatly. And much like the kids on Quiet on the Set, that now makes them financially responsible for their entire family and making a living to support the family. And so it clouds it even more than what, even for Quiet on Set, at least those kids could go home at night and go home to their parents in their safe spaces. These boys had nowhere to go. They were constantly with their abusers.
yes, correct. And these members of Menudo, when they turned 16 and 17, they were kicked out.
Right.
So the boys had to be between 12 and
15.
16, 17.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like they kick these boys out, and where are they at? I mean, what happens to them once they're out of the band? I mean, none of them went on to other careers that I remember.
Well, except for Ricky
Just
Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Well, Ricky Martin, of course, but that's one out of 52.
Or 62, she said, I believe.
Correct.
I thought you said 52. Was it 52 or 62?
52.
With a 5.
Okay.
5, 52.
50 or 52. I can't
Um,
even count, you guys. Gosh.
I can't either. It's okay.
uh, Macy said to make her a mod.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
somebody made a very derogatory comment about me, an
Macy,
untrue
make a comment.
comment.
I saw it and I blocked them. Don't worry. Macy, can you make a comment so I can get you, honey?
And can you tell us what is coming out on the 2nd?
May 2nd, there is going to be a mini series, and it will be called, it's on Peacock, and it is called Menendez and Menudo. And it actually also does the correlation between the two, and that's connecting the two.
Right.
And where does the case stand right now? When is the next hearing for Roy? Is Roy going to be granted a hearing?
No,
because
That is not on the books as of yet.
he filed his criminal
Correct.
complaint in 2022, and I'm wondering why it's not proceeded.
Well, it's in California, right? Or is it in New
Yeah,
York?
that should answer your question.
Is it in California?
I
Well,
believe it's in
is it in
California.
California or is it? I think that did come out already. I've seen the Menudo and Menendez, but I think there's new ones coming out, is what she's saying. If it's happening in California or New York,
Yes.
which would be the two states that it would have likely happened in, because both of those are the, entertainment industry states. I guarantee you both of them are highly backed up from COVID. And their court systems are 100% foobarred right now. So that could be why. I mean, that happened right during the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hate to see that, it took him his whole life to finally have the courage to file this,
It
criminal.
also depends on how long ago it happened to him. The statute of limitations could have run out.
I think in his situation, I don't know if the statute of limitations would have run out as far as the fact that they were taking him across state lines.
So trafficking him.
Mm-hmm.
That could be.
Right.
Because with just straight SA, like of a minor, there's a statute of limitations, and it's like, I think it's like 10 years from knowing what was going on, to this. So I don't know. So it depends on how old he was when it happened, when did he file, all of that to determine whether they're even going to be able to grant him a trial or not. It just depends. But because of trafficking, you're right. It does bring in different charges and different ways that the law can look at this. So there is that possibility. You're right.
And one thing that, has come up, and Danae is going to be talking about it, is the fact that a lot of the Menendo band members, their lives have gone terribly wrong since it happened because they were abused, and
Right.
and a few have unalived themselves.
Yeah. It's sad.
That is correct.
It's coming out in droves. I mean, we're seeing this with the P-Diddy case, with Quiet on the Set. Now we've got the Menendez brothers too. I mean, Hollywood is falling apart. I mean, 100%. Their ethics are wow. And we've all sat by and supported this for so long and, ignored what was really blatantly in front of our faces. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want my children to be in the industry. I wanted to be a child star, and my mother had enough good sense to not let me. And I was mad at her for that for years because, it was easier if I was under the age of 18 to get an agent and then transition over to being an adult actor than it is to come in as an adult actor in the industry. And so I was mad. I was mad at my mother because I was like, she wanted me to have this quote unquote normal life. And I was like, Mama, I'm not normal. I am not your normal kid. I don't want to be doing all of this stuff. What I wanted to do was Hollywood. And now, I mean, this is an industry that's broken my heart in so many freaking ways. And knowing the people that stood in that courtroom against Drake Bell on Quiet on Set, I am devastated. Like, it's unbelievable. And those people did know that it was Drake Bell. Now, the public didn't know it was Drake Bell, and the rest of the industry didn't know it was Drake Bell. But those 41 people that wrote those letters knew exactly who they were writing a letter about. And they're gross.
Right. And, something that I find very sad is the two Corys have been whistleblowers for years.
For years.
And everyone made them a joke.
Right. Well, the Corys, River Phoenix is in that group. It is sad. Heath Ledger is another one that I think is in that type of group, and it's hard. It is. And it's, we're watching these kids be given such adult roles And nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares that they're these children taking on these horribly adult roles, in not just the roles that they're playing
Right.
on TV, but the roles that they take on in their families, especially your minority children, that this is an
Right.
opportunity for them to give something to their family. And so they put up with things that they knew were not right, that they knew were weird and icky and made them feel bad, and all these different things, because they had this huge responsibility put on them at 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. It's
It's
horrible. You
sad.
got
It's saddening to me that as a society that we are sitting back laughing and enjoying watching their demise. I mean, look at how they have made fun of Amanda Bynes, and she was telling the truth all along.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Right.
lost all respect for her co-stars, Josh Peck, when he came out on that podcast and acted like that. That was just in poor taste. I mean, just I can't even believe it. It just blows my fucking mind. It's really sad
Yeah.
what these kids have gone through. And the Menendez brothers are part of that whole era of that going on. I mean, we've got it all the way back to, I don't know if you guys know or not. It's really funny. My husband sent me a message today about the Coogan Act, which I don't know if you know what the Coogan Act is or not, but that's the act that was passed because of a boy who starred with Charlie Chaplin in all kinds of different things. And his last name is Coogan. And his parents, he had starred in all this, and he becomes 18 years old, goes to get his trust fund, and it's all gone. There was nothing for him. The parents had
Mhm.
taken every penny. And so Charlie Chaplin is actually who helped him sue the system, and is who helped get the Coogan Act passed, which is where they have to put at least 15% away of all earnings in a trust for them for when they become adults, so that their parents cannot just take all of their money.
When was the child labor law enacted in
Right.
Hollywood?
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, we
But the
see
Coogan
that
Act goes all the way back to Charlie Chaplin.
I mean, the cast members from Quiet on the Set said that the child labor laws were being completely violated.
Goldie, is it 20%? The last time I heard it was 15%. Maybe they've raised it since then. But I mean, that's still a very small amount of money to be set aside for these kids.
And I think that it's very telling that their agents and managers have encouraged these kids, a lot of them, to file to become,
Emancipated.
emancipated. Yes,
Yeah. Because that's how they get around the child labor laws.
right. And also,
And that's
once
how they
they
get around having to pay, having to put their money away for trusts and stuff like that. Once they're declared an emancipated minor, they don't have to do any of that.
And what my point was is it was a way to isolate them from their parents and family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Drake Bell's mom, I'm sorry. I don't care how bad you feel for that woman and how much she did once she found out or whatever. The whole reason that her son was in the situation that he was in was she was too freaking lazy to get up and drive his ass to freaking auditions and to the set. I'm sorry. That's the truth of the matter. And if my husband, I don't give a shit how much my husband and I do not get along if we were to split up. If my husband were to say to me point blank, don't freaking leave our son alone, man, there's no way in hell I would have left my son alone with that man.
Right. He tried to warn her.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He
Yeah.
totally tried
It's
to warn his
crazy.
mother. And he said it was within a week, Drake said. Within a week of his dad being convincing him to take his dad off of being his manager. A week. 1 week. It was planned. It was orchestrated. 1938 was when the child labor law was started. But they skirt around it, and and I knowingly they do. And the thing is I know who Brian Peck is. I've met the guy. And I didn't even realize it was who I met. But I met him on the set of Boy Meets World. And I thought he was creepy as fuck. He was weird. Yes, his mother allowed this to happen. I agree.
And can we please address how absolutely distasteful this hungry girl video was?
Oh, with the phone.
Yeah, pickle phone.
That made me so mad, and I think so many people missed it and didn't understand what it was. Okay, so the hungry girl, that's her name. She's a chef, like a home chef kind of thing, and she is Dan Schneider's wife. Now she's been on talk shows where she was really rude to Patti LaBelle in the one that I saw, just super rude to her. And Patty was like, "What the hell, lady?" But her name is Hungry Girl. And I went to find out who she was because I didn't even know Dan Schneider was married. But he's been married to this woman since 2009. And she talks about the fact that Amanda Bynes was going to come and live with them at one point in time. And she knew exactly what was going on. And so then she makes this video, you know, the trend that's going around that's like, we're such and such. Of course we blah, 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 right? I'm a domestic violence survivor. Of course I da-da-da. Or I'm a child actor. Of course I was in Club 54, right? Those kind of things, that whole trend that's going around right now. She does one of those. And, you know, of course, I'm hungry girl. Of course, there's a picture of me made totally out of macaroni on my wall. I'm hungry girl. Of course, I have 3 drawers full of drink mixes. And then knowing that Brian Peck is pickle fucking boy, she makes a statement of, "I'm hungry girl. Of course I take all my phone calls, important phone calls, on my pickle phone." Read the fucking room, lady.
Horrible.
Horrible. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Just absolutely disgusting. Hey, though, my husband is calling, and I've been on here longer than I wanted to be today. My voice is starting to get scratchy again. So I'm going to let you guys go. Tomorrow, Sarah and I will be back. We'll be doing some more live, and we will be talking about some of these different cases. And hopefully next week we will have some recorded videos that we'll be able to put out for you guys, because I have my grandson next week, so I don't go live as much when I have him. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Janae and Sarah, for joining me in the box today and talking about the different cases that we've talked about. And don't forget to pre-order your book. You can pre-order the ebook right now, the companion to The Good Wives Guide to True Crime, on Amazon. The paperback and the hardback are set to be released by the end of this month, but there are a couple of things that we're trying to pull together to put in just the ebook. So go ahead and do that. Make sure you join our and follow us on all the different social medias.
Thank you guys
Bye,
for
guys.
the gifts, the love, the support. We appreciate it so much.
Okay, bye, guys. Gotta go.